Is there a time you've regretted how a relationship ended and had the chance to fix it? I messed up a good thing years ago, and I never thought I would get a second chance. I want to share what happened because maybe it will give someone else hope or maybe just help them avoid making the same mistake. I did not think I deserved another chance. I was not a good person back then. I was selfish and immature. I prioritized my own wants over everyone else's needs. I hurt people that cared about me. I drank too much, and I did not take school seriously. I thought I was invincible, and I did not think about the future. I thought I could get away with anything. I wish I could go back and change things, but I cannot. All I can do now is try to be better. We started dating after that first study session. I liked spending time with her. She was smart and funny. She challenged me. She made me want to be a better person. She was everything I was not. I fell in love with her quickly. I told her I loved her after only a few months. She said it back, and I believed her. We were happy for a while. I thought we would be together forever, but I was wrong. I met her in college. She was in my history class. I noticed her immediately. She always sat in the front row and asked questions that made me think. I was usually hungover and struggling to stay awake, but I always perked up when she spoke. After a few weeks, I finally worked up the nerve to ask her to study with me. She said yes, and we spent the next 3 hours in the library, not really studying, just talking. We started dating soon after that. It was easy. We liked the same things, we laughed at the same jokes, and we just enjoyed being around each other. She was smart, funny, and beautiful. I genuinely thought she was the one. We were together all through college. Everyone thought we would get married. I should have seen the cracks earlier. I noticed that we argued more often. The arguments were small at first. They became more frequent. We fought about stupid things like who called who last or what movie to watch when we did visit. I think we both knew it was more than that, though. We were growing apart. Our lives were moving in different directions. It was like we were on separate paths, slowly diverging. I did not want to admit it. I tried to ignore it. I convinced myself that we could make it work. I was wrong. The distance became too much. We had a big fight one night over the phone. I do not even remember what it was about. I said some things I regretted. She did too. We both ended up crying. We decided to take a break. A break turned into a few weeks. The weeks turned into a month. I knew it was over. I called her. We talked for hours. We both agreed that it was not working. We ended it. I felt sad, but also relieved. It was the right thing to do, even though it hurt. Then graduation came. I had a job lined up in another state, a good job with a lot of potential. She had plans to go to graduate school. We tried to make long-distance work. We talked every night and visited each other when we could, but it was hard. I felt lonely and stressed with the new job. She was busy with school. I started to doubt if we would make it. I was young and stupid. I thought I was missing out on something. I let the distance get to me. I thought I needed to experience new things, meet new people. I convinced myself that we were just together because it was comfortable, not because we were truly meant to be. I told myself it was for the best, even though it hurt. I began going out more. I met new people and tried new hobbies. I went to parties and stayed out late. I dated other people. None of it felt right. I always compared everyone to her. Nobody understood me like she did. I missed our inside jokes and late night talks. I missed her laugh. I missed her. I realized I had made a huge mistake, but I was too stubborn to admit it. I kept telling myself I was happy, even though I wasn't. I knew I had to say something. I called her. It went straight to voicemail. I texted her. She didn't respond. I tried not to panic. I told myself she was busy. I waited a few days and tried again. Still nothing. I started to worry that she hated me. I wondered if she was seeing someone else. The thought made me sick. I knew I messed up badly. I just wanted a chance to explain. I decided to drive to her place. So, I broke up with her. It was the hardest thing I had ever done. She cried, and I felt like my heart was being ripped out. I told her I thought we wanted different things and that long distance was too hard. I told her I still cared about her, but I needed to be on my own. She did not fight me. She just said she understood and that she would always cherish our time together. Then, she left. I watched her walk away. I regretted it instantly, but I was too stubborn to admit it. I went back to my apartment. I sat there for hours. I stared at the wall. I thought about what I had done. I replayed the conversation in my head. I analyzed every word. I searched for a way I could have changed the outcome. I came up with nothing. I just felt numb. I did not eat. I did not sleep well for days. I eventually tried to contact her. I sent her a text message. I waited. She did not respond. I called her. It went straight to voicemail. I sent an email. I received no reply. I drove by her apartment. It was empty. A neighbor told me she moved out. I felt a wave of panic. I knew I had messed up badly. I did not know how to fix it. I tried to move on. I dated other people, but no one ever measured up to her. I kept thinking about her, about the way she made me laugh, about how easily we connected. I realized I had made a huge mistake. I let fear and insecurity ruin the best thing that had ever happened to me. About a year after the breakup, I tried to contact her. I sent her an email, apologizing for what I did and telling her I missed her. I did not hear back. I tried calling, but her number had changed. I checked her social media, but she had blocked me. I understood. I hurt her, and I did not deserve another chance. I accepted that I had lost her forever. I moved on with my life, or at least I tried to. I dated other people. Some of them were nice. Some of them were not. None of them were her. I could not form a real connection with anyone. They always fell short. I would compare everyone to her, which was unfair. I knew that. I could not help it. She set a standard that no one else met. I felt guilty about this. I did not want to ruin things with someone new, but I could not stop thinking about my past. I started to wonder if she was the one. Maybe I made a huge mistake. I did not know how to fix it. I considered trying to find her again. I thought about contacting her family or friends. I decided against it. I did not want to intrude on her life if she was happy. I also did not want to cause her any pain. Maybe she had moved on and forgotten about me. Maybe she was with someone else. I hoped that she was happy, even if it was not with me. I tried to be happy for her. It was hard. I knew I would never truly get over her. I accepted this as part of my life. Years passed. I focused on my career. I became successful, but I was not happy. I always had this nagging feeling that something was missing. I still thought about her all the time. I wondered where she was, what she was doing, if she was happy. Then, about 5 years ago, I went to a conference in her city. I knew she lived there because I had seen it on a mutual friend's social media. I tried to convince myself not to look for her. I knew it was pointless, that she had moved on, but I could not help myself. I spent the whole first day of the conference thinking about her. I walked around in a daze. I barely paid attention to the speakers. All I could think about was seeing her again. I felt stupid for even considering it after so long. I should have been focusing on my career, networking, and learning new things. Instead, I was stuck in the past. I told myself it was just curiosity, that I did not actually want to rekindle anything. I told myself I only wanted to see how she was doing. I knew deep down that was a lie. The next day, I could not take it anymore. I skipped the morning sessions. I felt guilty, but I could not shake the urge to see her. I looked up her company's address on my phone. It was not too far from the conference center. I decided to just go for it. I rationalized it by telling myself that if she was not available, I would just leave. I could say I was in the area and thought I would say hello. That sounded plausible enough. I did not expect anything to come of it, but I had to try. I looked her up online and found out where she worked. It was a long shot, but I decided to go there. I walked into the building and asked the receptionist if she worked there. The receptionist said yes and asked if I had an appointment. I said no, but I asked if I could leave a message for her. I wrote a short note, just saying my name and asking if she would be willing to meet for coffee. I left my phone number and hoped for the best. I did not expect anything. I figured she would ignore it or tell me to go away. I spent the rest of the day wondering if I should have done it differently. I thought about all the things I could have said in the note. I considered if I should have made it longer or shorter. I questioned whether I should have even reached out at all. I worried that I was making a mistake and intruding on her life. I tried to distract myself, but my thoughts kept returning to the note. I replayed the moment I left it, wondering if anyone saw me. I went over the wording in my head, analyzing each sentence. I had a hard time focusing on anything else. The next morning, I checked my phone as soon as I woke up. There were no new messages. I felt disappointed, but I tried to remain realistic. I told myself that she probably had a lot going on. I figured she needed more time to think about it. I went through my usual morning routine, trying to push the note out of my head. I went to work and tried to focus on my tasks, but it was difficult. I kept glancing at my phone, hoping to see a notification. I did not want to get my hopes up too high, but I still felt a sense of anticipation. The next day, I got a text message. It was from her. She said she was surprised to hear from me and that she would be willing to meet for coffee. My heart skipped a beat. I could not believe it. We met at a small coffee shop near her work. I was nervous. I had no idea what to expect. When she walked in, I was stunned. She looked even more beautiful than I remembered. She smiled when she saw me, but it was a cautious smile. I stood up to hug her. She hesitated for a second but then hugged me back. It was brief. We sat down, and she ordered a latte. I just got a black coffee. The silence felt thick, so I asked how work was. She told me about a new project she was managing. I tried to act interested. It was hard to focus on the details. I mostly just stared at her. She eventually asked about my job. I explained the recent changes in my department. It felt like an interview. After a while, the conversation became easier. We laughed a few times. I asked about her family. She asked about mine. I avoided talking about my dating life. I did not want to scare her away. I wanted to explain why I wanted to see her again. I just needed the right moment. The apology felt necessary before anything else. I wanted her to know I was sincere. We talked for hours. We caught up on our lives, what we had been doing, what we had learned. I apologized again for how I had ended things. I told her I had been an idiot and that I regretted it every day since. She listened patiently. When I was done, she said she understood. She said she had been hurt, but she had also forgiven me. She said she had moved on and built a good life for herself. I was happy for her. I honestly was. I appreciated her honesty. It felt good to hear her say those things. I had carried a lot of guilt about the way things ended. Knowing she found happiness helped ease that burden. I had expected anger, maybe even resentment. I did not anticipate her being so calm and understanding. Part of me wondered if I deserved her forgiveness. I wondered if I would have been as gracious in her position. I knew I needed to accept her words. I wanted to believe she was truly at peace with our past. I also knew I needed to move on. I needed to stop dwelling on what could have been. I took a deep breath after she finished speaking. I tried to process what she had just told me. It was a lot to take in after so many years. I did not know how to respond. I did not want to give her the wrong impression. I did not want to reopen old wounds. I was also curious about what she meant. I considered what I should say next. The silence stretched between us. I knew I had to say something eventually. Then, she said something that changed everything. She said that even though she had moved on, she had never completely forgotten about me. She said a part of her had always wondered what would have happened if we had stayed together. We started seeing each other again. Slowly, cautiously, we started to rebuild our relationship. It was not easy. We had a lot to work through, a lot of baggage to unpack. But we were both willing to put in the effort. We went to therapy. We talked about our feelings. I learned to communicate better. She learned to trust me again. It took a long time. There were setbacks. We argued. We cried. But we always came back to each other. We both wanted the same thing. We wanted to be together. I started looking for jobs near her. I applied to several places. I had a few interviews. One company made me an offer. It was a good opportunity. I accepted the job. I gave notice at my current job. I started making plans to move. It felt like the right thing to do. I was excited about our future. I moved back to her city. I found a new job. We spent more time together. We rediscovered the connection we had lost. We realized that we were still in love. 2 years ago, I asked her to marry me. She said yes. We got married last year. It was the happiest day of my life. I never thought I would get a second chance with her, but I did. I know this is not always how these stories end. I know that sometimes, you cannot go back. But sometimes, if you are lucky, if you are willing to admit your mistakes and fight for what you want, you can get a second chance. I am grateful every day that I did. She is my best friend, my soulmate, the love of my life. I cannot imagine my life without her. If you are in a similar situation, if you have regrets about a past relationship, do not be afraid to reach out. It might not work out, but you will never know unless you try. And if it does work out, it will be the best thing that ever happens to you. I hope this helps someone. Thank you for reading.